Hello and welcome back to The Voice of Reason. I'm Ryan Foltz, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the different conventions that are going on. The Democratic National Convention just finished up yesterday or Thursday, I believe, and the Republican National Convention will be starting on Monday, goodness, August 25th or 24th, I think. Yeah, the 24th. And I'm just going to talk about what the purpose of the convention is and how it relates to us as potential voters for the election coming up in November. Um, I would highly encourage everyone on either side to watch the opposing party's national convention, obviously your own, because it's important that you understand what the other side is saying, and that way you can formulate your own opinions about whatever's happening, and you can be an informed voter. I think it's important for Republicans to listen to the talking points of Democrats and vice versa, because um, you never know. Maybe they have a position on a certain thing, and maybe you might agree with that position. Um, and I think that is why the First Amendment is so important. It's like you have the right to say whatever you want, and someone else has the right to either agree or disagree with that point. Um, and I think it's important that because so many times people on either side maybe will say, well, we can't have them saying this or that because that's harmful or that's not right. The way that it's supposed to work is you're supposed to say what you believe, and that's it. And then other people have the right to either say, hey, I agree with that, or hey, I disagree with that because X, Y, and Z. And that's called democracy. It's freedom of speech. It's like the freedom of speech. It extends to the end of your finger, and that's it. Once you physically harm someone, that's where it stops. So I think it's important for both sides to keep in mind that just because it's allowed to be said, that doesn't mean that we necessarily agree with it. So I think it's important for Democrats to watch the Republican National Convention, just like I think it's important for Republicans to watch the Democratic National Convention, and that way you can know what the other side's argument is, and that way you're able to say, hey, I don't agree with that because this is wrong and that's wrong, and this is wrong based on whatever statistics that you may have. I did watch some of the Democratic National Convention, and my opinions on it are that I don't think the Democrats did a very good job of actually talking about how they're going to get things done. There was a lot of talking about how much they dislike the president, which is fairly obvious. I mean, to state the obvious, I don't know why that was a thing. I feel like most people assume that they're watching the Democratic National Convention. Therefore, if the Republican president is in office, it's their job to figure out how to get him out of office. I don't think that they need to spend as much time talking about how much they don't like him as a president. They really didn't focus that much, in my opinion, on things that he's done that they don't like. It's more of, I don't like him, and he's bad. It's like if you are going to try to convince someone that you don't like a certain person, the way to do that is to say, I don't like this person because of this, and that, and not, I don't like him just because he does this or that. I mean, not because he does that. Instead of, I mean, you could argue that, but it's a pretty weak argument to say I don't like him just because of his idea that he has personally. You can say, hey, look, this policy is not good. It has resulted in X, Y, and Z, and that's why it's bad. And here's my policy that will fix whatever he did that was wrong. And this is what we're gonna do. And in my opinion, the the way that you can tell that someone has lost an argument is usually the first person that strays off of here are the facts and starts going, you're this or you're that, you're an idiot, whatever. As soon as they start hurling personal insults, then you know that that person has usually lost the debate. Um, I mean, it was very emotional, obviously, because the Democrats really use emotion to try to get their points across, and that will work, obviously. But at a certain point, you know, if you're a rational person, then you have to say, all right, that's, you know, that's a great feel good story, but what policy can I, you know, use to make life better? And I really don't think they did a very good job of that at all. Um, and it was just a pander fest as far as I'm concerned. But again, I encourage you to go back and rewatch the whole thing, or you know, as much as you want, but go back and watch some of it so you can understand and make that determination for yourself. Um, like I said, the Republican National Convention starts on Monday, August 24th, and my expectations for it are that I think that well, my expectations are I hope that the the committee takes however much time that they have to really play off the strengths of the American people and not try to bash them over the head because everything's racist. I really don't think that's gonna make anything better. So I really hope that they do a better job of adding some sort of emotion in there, because one of the weaknesses of the Republican Party is their lack of emotional connection, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but the Democrats have had their thumb on the pulse of using emotion to bring people into fear, and I think that the Republican Party can, on the flip side of that, use emotion to really be an encouragement to, you know, the Americans who are still undecided. And I don't know, I just think it would be really good for the party to they need to show some sort of diversity on the stage, because everyone already knows, you know, has this general idea of what to expect from the Republican Party. So I think they really need to try to play up on diversity, and I also think they need to play on the the better side of America, and I believe they're going to do that. I certainly hope that everything is not a pre-recorded message. It would be great if all the speakers were actually there for the entirety of the convention, because I just think that the American people are looking for something like that right now at a time like this. Um, I think most people are ready to get back out there, and they're ready to get going again. And I think it would be a really strong move for the Republican National Convention to come out and to say, hey, look, we're here, we're not going anywhere, we're going to meet in person. You know, maybe you don't have the audience, but that still doesn't mean people can't show up and speak. And I am really expecting the president to show up, and I really hope he does his speech in person. I believe that he's probably going to do that because he was in Wisconsin during the Democratic National Convention, which was held in Wisconsin. So I mean, for me personally, I'm seeing a lot of good signs about, I mean, from Republicans all over the country, and it's really an encouragement to me. And I think that the black community is really starting to wake up to, not most of them, but a good bit of them are finally waking up to, hey, we don't really have to vote for the Democratic Party. And I think that's a really good thing, because you shouldn't vote for one party or the other based on your race, because that's just a really dumb thing to do. Like, you're a human being and you are smart enough to make your own decisions about what you want to do with your life. I mean, you don't need your mom standing over you every second of the day saying, "Hey, this is what you need to do. You need to do this. You need to pay your bills. You need to go to work." Most grown adults, already have that. They already have the personal responsibility to do all that stuff. And like, and I think that it's a shame that there's a lot of people out there who think that one political party or the other is responsible for controlling the way they believe. Because at the end of the day, you're American, you're free, you can do whatever you want. Again, so long as it's not physically harming another person. So I think that that not saying that the black community will 100% switch over and vote for Republican, no, but I am just hoping that more of them switch sides, and that will make it easier for others to switch sides. And maybe there's some that believe in the Democratic platform, and you know what? If that's what they believe, based on their beliefs and not their skin color, then more power to them. I'm happy to debate and call them out on things that I think are wrong. But I just think it's important that other minority groups are represented in the Republican National Convention. I think it's really important. I know it's been a really encouraging thing for me to see, because for the longest time, the Republicans have just been known as just a bunch of old white people. That's the perceptions you get. So it's good to see that there are other Black Americans who are starting to come around to the Republican Party. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I'm hoping that, well, maybe we'll see what happens with work, but maybe possibly doing a live stream of the Republican National Convention, maybe for a few hours, who knows, we'll see. But stay tuned, and we've got a country to save.